We bring you the morning edition of MBC News with me, Arthur Chokoto. Our top stories. Malawi Local Government Association, MALGA, commends President Mutharika for withholding assent to a Constituency Development Fund CDF bill. The Malawi Stock Exchange outshines African markets in the just ended year. And in sports, we explore why other sporting disciplines in the country fail to export players to foreign clubs. Glad you could join us. Civil society organizations and Malawi Local Government Association, MALGA, have commended President Professor Arthur Bida Mutharika for withholding assent to a bill that sought to enact a law on the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. Other civil society organizations include the National Platform, Youth and Society, Youth Decide, and Center for Social Accountability and Transparency. Speaking at a news conference in Lilongwe, National Platform Chairperson Benedicto Kondowe said CSOs hope that the CDF guidelines that President Mutharika has directed ministries to develop will be in the interest of Malawians. Kondowe explains.
Because you will recall that the Constitutional Court was very, very clear on this matter, that members of parliament should not have a direct role in the management of CDF. So we are grateful to the President, but most importantly, we would want us as a nation to move forward together. The power to govern is derived from the people of Malawi. So Section 12 of our Constitution is very clear that all political and legal authorities derive from the people of Malawi and must be exercised in their best interest. And democracy is all about power to the people. And this is why you are saying the beneficiary of CDF are Malawians. And therefore, it will be for government to leave out Malawians in the development of the guidelines, because they are the owners of local development. And if we bring them on board, that will trigger ownership. And once ownership has been secured, then we are guaranteed that the CDF will serve its intended purpose.
Commenting on the same is Executive Director for Nyika Institute, Moses Mkandawire, who says the amended bill gave some powers to parliamentarians in handling the CDF. He says the President's refusal to assent to the bill is a clear indication that CDF must be handled by local councils through councillors to ensure smooth implementation of the projects. He speaks to Blessings Gondwe.
Let's not create antagonism between them and ourselves, because we need members of parliament. They also need us. They also need the people that put them in office. But above all, let's also look at the agenda of the president. I think let us understand that what His Excellency has done, if this can be properly implemented, I think will be one of the greatest legacies that is going to leave behind when his time comes for him to retire. Why? Why? Because the communities, wherever we're coming from, have not really benefited much from, dialect development. And we still feel that the 5 billion that the president has proposed, if it can go into these constituencies or communities, as it were, I think these resources can largely contribute to addressing a number of challenges that the communities are encountering.
Community technical colleges in the country have been challenged to embrace innovative solutions that can help contribute to Malawi's development aspirations. Director of Training Programs for Technical, Entrepreneurial, Vocational and Education and Training Authority, TVETA, Modesto Gomani, made the remarks at Mangochi Community Technical College during a design and realization training for instructors. Owen Mavula with a report.
About 27 instructors drawn from Mangochi Community Technical College and Andiamo Community Technical College in Balaka are undergoing a 5-day training course in design and realization in the Lakeshore district of Mangochi. The training, according to Director of Training Programs for Technical, Entrepreneurial, Vocational and Education and Training Authority, TVETA, Modesto Gomani, seeks to equip the instructors with knowledge on how best they can nurture students in community technical colleges to develop innovative solutions that can help address societal challenges.
As we are looking at the skills development at the moment, we are also recognizing the importance of designing and realization. And the designing is very important in our today world, just because for us to come up with a solution to the problems that we experience every day, we need people that can design technologies. We need people that can develop the technologies, and we need people that can see through their designs to realization. This is very important for the country as we also look into the Malawi 2063.
In his remarks, President of the instructors, Eric July, said the training will go a long way in shaping their tutorial skills and improve performance in community technical colleges.
So basically this particular training is going to empower each and every attendee who has joined the training. Actually, when we go back, we are going to be assisted. We are going to know how to deliver and how to actually fill the gaps that are existing.
Principal for Mangochi Community Technical College, Mbasa Mawembe, believes the training will address existing skills and innovation gaps and help colleges produce well-equipped graduates.
All through what we've been making, or our students have been making, maybe in most cases, we always make the thing that have been already been there. We are not being creative enough. So this is one way of inculcating creativity into our students who we are teaching. For instance, if you talk of exporting of commodities, they are always looking for products that bring solutions to humanity. So we want our students who graduate from our colleges to give solutions through design and realization.
The week-long training is being facilitated by Malawi University of Business and Applied Sciences under the Skills for a Vibrant Economy project with funding from the World Bank. Owen Mavula, MBC, Mangochi.
Stakeholders in the implementation of early child development ECD programs in the country have called for partnerships to mobilize resources towards the sector. Speaking to MBC, Executive Director for the CCOP Livingstonia of the Synod of Livingstonia's ECD department, Reverend Nancy Chunga, said the sector requires more funding from both local and bilateral partners. More in this report by Grant Muhango.
Statistics indicate that out of 66,000 caregivers in Malawi, only 20,000 have undergone basic ECD training due to financial challenges. The CCP Synod of Livingstonia ECD Department Executive Director, Reverend Nancy Chunga, says a 2-week training would require not less than 600,000 kwacha to train a single caregiver, which is beyond reach to both government and other stakeholders. Reverend Chunga further calls for joint proposals to multilateral donors to source more funding towards the sector.
Nationally, we have about 66,000 caregivers, but those who have gone formal training, basic training of caregiving, is about 20,000 or so. So we have a lot to do, and the cost is always increasing. So the basic caregivers training of 2 weeks is leveraging around 600,000 kwacha cost. So in order for us as a nation to make good strides, there's need for government to make allocation of resources for training of caregivers. But also, we have also made a proposition to government that we need to write a joint proposal, Malawi government and CSOs, to World Bank, so that I think there is a big amount of resources provided for training of caregivers in Malawi, so that the indicator should improve.
Among others, the country has developed the ECD policy, which runs from 2025 to 2030 as a roadmap towards implementation of ECD programs in the country. Grant Muhango, MBC News, Mzuzu.
You're watching the morning edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. Malawi Local Government Association, MALGA, commends President Mutharika for withholding assent to a Constituency Development Fund CDF bill. The Malawi Stock Exchange outshines African markets in the just ended year. And in sports, we explore why other sporting disciplines in the country fail to export players to foreign clubs. We move on with business news. The Malawi Stock Exchange's impressive continental performance in the just ended year is being described as a reflection of high domestic investor demand. According to market analyst Tamvani there is a growing demand mainly being driven by the need to protect value against some economic shocks such as inflation and lack of attractive alternative investments. Erlin Chimoyo reports.
According to the latest analysis by Africa Markets on performance of exchange markets on the continent, Malawi has emerged as top performer in Africa for 2025. Malawi Stock Exchange MSC leads at 245%, trailed by Ghana at 79%, Zambia 68%, Nigeria and Kenya at 51%. Unlike other exchanges such as the Johannesburg Stock Exchange of South Africa and Ghana, with as high as over 400 listings, the Malawi Bourse has only 16 counters, a development which reflects short supply against a big investing demand, as explained by Makwakwa.
Now, what it simply tells us is that people have got confidence on our market. So maybe first of all we need to appreciate what made this performance to reach those levels. So there could be many factors, outside maybe two. So the first one, we can say that there has been a high demand on the Malawi Stock Exchange in terms of investor participation. You see that our market is also small, maybe compared to other markets, with only 16 companies. And most companies are not that liquid. So yeah, this significant interest on our market made it possible to create demand and supply in balance. So there were a lot of demand for the stocks, which pushed prices.
What this means is that the local market is worthwhile an investment for shareholders at all levels with both major and minority stakes. Frank Harawa is Secretary General of the Minority Shareholders Association of Listed Companies, Misaliko.
Malawi Stock Exchange has been the best performing stock market in Africa for many years now. We saw it was a bull market. Shares had gone up so much. Most of the listed counters, the share price went up. As a result, I can say shareholders made a lot of money. And at the same time, during the year, there were good dividend payouts from most of the counters. And yeah, so it was all good mostly for the shareholders.
MSC authorities have also remained upbeat of a good year as shown by positive trade registered in the first week of 2026. Meanwhile, shareholders on the local market are all smiles as corporate and trading statements from the MSC are indicating lucrative profits in most listed companies, a development which points to good dividends. The positive performance in the just ended year is also likely to spill over to 2026, with trade continuing on the local market, with a few counters registering share price drops and the majority of counters recording share price gains. Elin Chimoyo, NBC News, Blantyre.
Mobile phone network service provider Airtel Malawi says investing in education remains key to achieving the Malawi 2063 development blueprint. Airtel Malawi Managing Director Ashish Dutt said this in a long way during the launch of Zero Scholarship Fund. Zero Scholarship Fund is an initiative which supports students financially at the Malawi University of Science and Technology, MUST. Dutt speaks to our reporter Maim Tumodzi.
Airtel Zero Fund is a fund which focuses on giving support to the deserving students from Malawi who are capable, but because they do not have the resources and they do not have the financial backing, they drop out. As you know, we have 27,000 students who apply and almost 90% plus they drop out. We do not want that to happen. So as a responsible corporate citizen, we want to play our part in ensuring that we are aligned to the government's 2063 vision on digitization as well as education. So as a business, while we are working towards making the country digitized, we are also wanting to play our part to support students so they can realize their dreams and achieve what they want to do in their life, and should not be deprived just because they do not have resources. So the 25 children and 25 capable students will be supported through Airtel's Naziru Fund, and we will take care of their education, full education, and we will support so that they are able to achieve what they dream of and they play their part in the growth of the nation.
On her part, Vice Chancellor for MAST, Professor Adres Malata, described the fund as timely, considering that many students are struggling financially to support their studies and stay at the university. She said the fund, which is supporting young minds access higher education, remain key to transforming Malawi's economy, which relies on the youth to sustain. She explains.
Significant with Airtel Malawi. We have had conversations over the years. I think we started discussion maybe 10 years ago, but finally they have come up with a scholarship for students. I think they have other initiatives in the primary education, but they are also focusing on higher education. And significant because this year, those students who are selected to come to MAST for STEM programs, so science, technology, engineering, mathematics, they can actually access this program, this scholarship, and it is for 25 students. So it is quite significant. And their scholarship, they are covering everything from tuition to accommodation to food. They also make sure that the students are enabled to access internet, and they will be supported throughout their areas of study. There are times people give scholarships that are on a yearly basis, but this scholarship is once you get it, for the 4 years or 5 year program, you are assured of a scholarship. So very significant. We are very grateful to Airtel. For MAST, this is our first gift for the year, and we are looking into the year 2026 with a lot of enthusiasm, knowing that students are getting support they need. So as you know, for higher education in Malawi, for our public universities, many of the students that are selected are needy students. We do have maybe like 25% of students that can pay fees. They come from well-to-do families, but majority of the students that are selected do not have adequate fees, sometimes even no fees. Sometimes they'll have the fees, tuition fees, but no accommodation, no upkeep, they have no food. There's a loans system board, loans board in Malawi that was created by government, by an act of parliament that supports needy students. But as you can imagine, not every student can get that loan. The needs are huge. The numbers of our students studying in our universities are growing by each year. So there's still students who still need support. And these students are getting a scholarship. This is not a loan. So the also advantage is that they finish their program, they will not be paying back to Airtel. What we are saying is we are pleading with them to finish well, and support someone from their village or support someone who is needy once they get employed or they have a business. In other words, they must give back. Giving back to Airtel means passing, but it also much more means that they must help another student who is needy. So whether we like it or not, there are many students and there's a loan system that's available, but it is not adequate. But also an advantage of a scholarship is that the student doesn't have to pay back. They actually are going to be free after they finish their studies. It has an advantage, particularly if they're still coming from needy families. As we've seen, even after graduation, these students are still desperate to pay back the loan. But when they have a privilege of a scholarship, then they are free. They can work and then support someone who is also needy.
The Ministry of Tourism has challenged investors to invest in the country's tourism master plan as the country strives to position itself as a preferred tourist destination in the region. Ministry of Tourism Public Relations Officer Joseph Nkosi said this as the country reflects on the highs and lows of the sector in the just ended year. Details in this report.
The Malawi Nation Tourism Master Plan, which spans from 2022 to 2042, plans to increase the sector's contribution to the economy to 11%, which is approximately $923 million by 2029, and targets to increase annual earnings from tourists to around $50 million. Minister of Tourism Public Relations Officer Joseph Nkosi has since highlighted a number of incentives investors are expected to enjoy under the plan.
So the master plan has got 103 projects that it identified as with the potential to grow tourism in Malawi. So in terms of incentives, the incentives are there. Because as we speak this year, we have got those that are constructing, like Malawians that are constructing 20 rooms and above. They've got a chance, or they would benefit from duty waivers. If they are buying things outside, they will do them duty free. If they are buying some local stuff, there will be a removal of duty. So there are these incentives to help us develop the sector.
And Umo's Park and Resource Chief Executive Officer Steve Luanda has expressed optimism that Umo's Park will stretch its footprints to the lake shore as the facility plans to build a lakeshore resort.
And we have got a place by Malembo there in Mangochi, so obviously we will have to develop that into possibly 80 rooms, but the number of rooms will have to be decided. That's the first place. We have been showing our interest to develop and manage the Golden Sands Lake Malawi National Park.
The country's tourism sector attracts an average of 900,000 visitors annually and employs over 500,000 people locally. Trust Office, MBC News, Lirongwe.
In entertainment news, Afro-pop musician Physics has commended Urban People Music UMP for awarding musicians who performed outstandingly in the Just Ended year of 2025. Speaking during the award presentation in Blantyre, the musician, whose real name is Noel Chikoleka, who is also the chairperson of the Musician Union of Malawi, Southern Chapter, described the awards as a motivation factor to artists. He speaks to our entertainment reporter, Simeon Boyce.
This was a very important event because, one, as creatives, just that pat on the back, just that recognition, somebody saying you did good, somebody saying amwene mwachita bwino, it goes a long way. Firstly, it encourages the people who have been active in that year. Secondly, it encourages the people who are looking up to those people who did well in that year to say, if we did well, we'll also be recognized. Indeed, people can have money, people can benefit money, and all sorts of things, but just being recognized specifically for the talent, specifically for the ability, specifically for the effort, it goes a long way. These are some of the things that encourages talent and growth of the industry within the country and indeed into the global stage.
And in sports, many sporting disciplines in the country have been exporting players to foreign clubs. Netball, football, basketball and volleyball are among the disciplines that exports players. But since its inception, darts has never produced any player for any foreign club. This is despite sound sponsorship and well-established leadership structures. One of the country's longest darts players, who has been in the game for over 25 years, Kelvin Nyirenda, suggests the reason behind the downfall and its solutions. He shares his thoughts to Amin Musa.
Yes, I've been in darts now for a good number of years, because I started darts at the now called Malawi School of Government in Pemba around 2000. So I can say I've been there for 25 years and I've been in administration at league level and even at the national level. That is where I was at one time the Secretary General of the Association of Malawi under the presidency of Isaac Kaneka. What I can say is that I think the association and us as league leaders, we need to sit down quickly and look at what are we doing to ensure that we are recognized at the international level and at the World Darts Federation, so that at least we should also be participating and we should be able to have our players taken to other countries to play professional darts. Because as we are now, we have players who, when they are on the board, we can see them that they can make a difference. Even in the youth players who are upcoming, they're also doing fine, the ladies and the men. Now what we are just saying is that the current the leagues which are active is only Central Region Darts League and Southern Region Darts League. And that really is also a contributing factor to possibly not having national, because for the past year or so we have not even had the national tournaments. Not having the national league in darts is also really a contributing factor to not being well exposed to be able to possibly have some of our players identified by other scouters to say this player can play in a particular league, this and that. So the starting point is maybe as leagues we need to be more vibrant, get more sponsors, then we can convince these sponsors to take the league at national level. So that Mzuzu should also be actively playing Central Region and all that. Then maybe this can help us to have now a pool of players who we can say can be a target for that. And I think what we are doing here in the south of starting the singles championship and all that, I'm sure this is the way to go, because others one day will be able to find some players from those tournaments and be able to say, what if I link you with a team in maybe South Africa or a team in Botswana who have a well-organized league? Then maybe that can be the way to start exporting players.
In news from across the borders, China's top diplomat Wang Yi has begun touring African countries with a focus to deepen political and mutual trust on trade access shipping routes. Yi is expected to visit Ethiopia, Lesotho, Somalia and Tanzania. Tosin Magombo with a report.
The tour is expected to bolster bilateral cooperation and the launch of the China-Africa Year of People-to-People Exchange at the Africa Union headquarters in Addis Ababa. The 2026 tour aims not only to honor diplomatic tradition, but to accelerate project implementation from the Forum on Africa-China Cooperation Beijing Summit and to expand ties into areas like technology, green development, youth exchange and cultural interaction. China's interest in Africa has grown significantly in recent years. This is evident in a deal where Zambia has begun servicing its debt in yuan instead of $1, and in October, Kenya converted part of its Chinese debt into yuan, hence increasing Chinese dominance in Africa. Malawi has seen investments of over $12 billion in 2025 in areas of mining and arrangement for establishment of specific economic zone. Tosin Magombo, MBC News.
Well, that item also concludes this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories before we leave. Malawi Local Government Association, MALGA, commends President Mutharika for withholding assent to a Constituency Development Fund CDF bill. The Malawi Stock Exchange outshines African markets in the just ended year. And in sports, we explore why other sporting disciplines in the country fail to export players to foreign clubs. Keep up to date with our news coverage on our digital windows by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You are with me, Arthur Chokoto. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.